Today I realized something that calmed my mind, and I realized that my success is not emotional. It's more mathematical than it is emotional. And I think a lot of times, once we figure that out, it'll give us so much relief. It'll give us so much sobriety to understand, like, it's not as mythical and magical as we like to make things seem. As much as watching people have their big moments seems magical, and in a way it is magical, but it's really about putting in the reps. And I think once we realize, sometimes we don't ever find out how many reps, but if the goal is to, if I could do this many reps of something, by that last rep, something in my life would have changed. What's up, y'all? This is Jamai, and this is Manifesting Stardom. This is the vlog to me being the biggest star in the world. And so I'm talking with y'all as I go through my daily devotions, as I'm dealing with the mental and psychological aspect of being an entrepreneur, being an artist, or being a creator, keeping my brain right, keeping my mind right, my emotions right. And a big part of that is me studying the Bible as a Christian man, and me like learning and just talking through my process with you guys, because you'll be watching this, maybe I'm already famous, maybe it's 40, 50 years after I done passed, and this is my legacy, my way of journaling, inspiring myself, but also inspiring the current and the generation following me. And so we talk about it. And so today I just wanted to talk about how, it's not really emotional, it's more mathematical. To get where you want to get to. I saw something last week on TikTok, and it's a trend about 1,000 rejections. My goal to 1,000 rejections, and the premise of it is people are aiming to get rejected 1,000 times within a year span. And in the midst of doing that, they're simultaneously building their confidence, and the reward is the no. So you flip it on its head. A lot of times we don't go for things because of the rejection, but if we actually do things looking for the rejection, one, we're building our confidence, and we're probably going to get a lot of yeses. And so with all of that being said, the way that fits into my conversation today is you need to figure out how many reps, or you need to make a goal of how many reps to do something, and just look at the math. If you practice an instrument for 10,000 hours, and your goal is the 10,000 hours, it's not, oh, I'm going to sound like this by this day, I'm going to do this when I feel like. No, your sole metric is to reach the hour goal, that 10,000 hour goal. So the first point is stop measuring by emotion, measure by the reps. You know what I'm saying? For me, I still haven't figured this out with my Telegram business, but I know that a certain amount of people need to see my ad or see me performing telegrams on Instagram, on TikTok, in order for the threshold for me to book a telegram or a lead. Nobody's booking a telegram if they never seen it, if they don't know about you. You need a certain amount of songs released or a certain amount of posts before it reaches through the threshold to get the amount of people you need to see. I was watching Alex Hormozy. He talked about his book release, and I think he was saying how, I don't know if he was speaking from like an ad or something, but he talked about how he promoted his book, and he spent X amount of dollars, and X amount of people, knew about the book or the awareness. And like for example's sake, I think he was like, he had 1 million people see the ad, but not even 1% of those people actually signed up and showed up at the book release or whatever. And it still did well, but you do have to understand that you will not get the outcome if you don't have the repetitions, if you don't have the awareness, if you don't have the reps needed. to get the outcome. So, you know, even with the vlogs, my thing is, the research that I've done is, they say do 100 videos, and then after you've done the first 100 videos, look at the top performing videos of that 100. Like, what are the top 3 or 4 videos of that 100 videos that you shot, and then duplicate that and make that better. And then your next 100 videos, and so the only way you figure that out, though, is you got to do the first 100 videos. So when you're at video 55, you can't stop because you haven't gotten results, or nobody's watching it. When you're at video 72, you can't stop and say this doesn't work. It's more mathematical than it is emotional. Most people quit because they measure how they feel. You know what I'm saying? They think about what's not working. They think about what they aren't doing, or making up excuses. But winners measure how they feel by how many attempts they make. You know what I'm saying? Your breakthrough is in the repetition. You know, it's in the next 20 reps. You know what I mean? Your breakthrough might be hiding behind the next 20 reps. You know, most people stop at 10. Most people stop at 15. You know, if I know that I need to release 100 episodes to get a metric to see what works, I can't stop at episode 40. Yeah, that's 40 episodes. Yeah, that's over a month worth of episodes. Yeah, but you can't stop. You gotta make it to 100, and then be able to assess and then make it better. You know, so it's more mathematical, it's more mechanical than it is magical. The second point is to simplify the mission. Just keep showing up. You don't need motivation. You just need repetition. You just need to do the reps. You don't get a six-pack by showing up for a week. In fact, your goal shouldn't even be to see the six-pack. Your goal should be to be consistent. The six-pack is a byproduct of you being consistent. You know what I mean? You post enough, if you post enough, you'll reach enough people. If you show up enough, just show up. Just post that however many posts you need to post a day. And don't look at the immediate response. Look in the long term, you know. The last point I have is faith works through repetition. God doesn't bless who tries once. He blesses those who refuses to give up. Every action is a seed. Every seed produces eventually. And you either going to produce negative or positive. So you might as well put your energy into the positive. You know what I'm saying? And full disclosure, you know, I haven't figured it out. Like, I still haven't figured out how many videos, or how many people need to see a J Telegram singing Telegram video for me to book one lead. A lot of my leads are word of mouth. A lot of my leads a lot of my bookings are people who are in need in the moment, but they've known of my work for years, and they just waiting for the right moment. But I haven't figured out the metrics specifically, like this X amount of people needs to see my post or my page within a 30-day period for me to book X amount of telegrams. I still haven't figured that out. I still haven't figured out how many YouTube videos I need to get X amount of watch hours. I still haven't figured it out, you know. And the truth is, if you are ever going to figure it out, the only way you're going to figure it out is by output, is by putting more things out. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way you're going to get bigger in the gym. That's the only way you're going to get better at singing. That's the only way you're going to get better at doing business. That's the only way you're going to do better at deals or presentations, or what's the word I'm looking for? When you're trying to collaborate with another business or investor, a proposal. That's the only way you'll get better at proposing, proposals and things like that. So The scriptures I have is, y'all know it's my favorite one, Galatians 6:9. And so what? I use a lot of the same scriptures because it's true. And like, if it's true, that means that it doesn't change. And so the scripture is Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. You will receive if you don't faint. Denzel Washington said, if you hang around the barbershop long enough, eventually you'll get a haircut. If you keep knocking at the door, eventually somebody's going to open. If you keep pushing, eventually you're going to reach the goal. You just got to not give up. You can't give up. You can't give up. Ecclesiastes 11:6. Wow, I keep yawning. My bad, y'all. Ecclesiastes 11:6 says, sow your seed in the morning and let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which of the seed will succeed. This is exactly my message. You don't know which post, you don't know which video, you don't know which person is going to be the thing that changes your life. So, as they say, keep your nose clean and keep showing up. Keep doing your best. When you do your best, people notice. Keep showing up. Keep posting. Keep practicing. Keep writing. Keep creating. Keep looking at what you've done and trying to make it better. Just a little bit better. But also, don't get stuck in perfection. Just show up today. Just show up today, man. Just show up today. And so the last scripture is Proverbs. Why do I keep yawning? That's my last big yawn. Maybe because I'm talking so much. Proverbs 14:23 says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads to only poverty. Not some work, but all work brings profit. All work brings profit. But if you just talking, that's all you're doing. My life changed when I stopped asking, when will it happen? You know, what will this, and that's been, I've been like that maybe since I was 15 years old during my first album. I've always just been a doer. I've always been like how can I make it happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I make it happen? How can I, you know, I'll never forget when I did my first project. I had recorded it and I was about to get signed to a label, and one of the A&Rs was talking about how the low quality of my recording was. And so after that opportunity came and went, my demo was like low quality. But after that, when I went in the studio, I literally went in my phone, went in my album. This is back in the day. So this is back when we had CDs and you could see where each artist recorded their albums. Like, you could see what studio they recorded at. They had all the songwriters, the mixing engineers. I'll never forget, I looked in Beyonce's album cover, her B-Day album cover. I looked in Usher's Confessions, and I looked in Justin Timberlake's Justified. And I found the studio that they recorded in. One of them was in Philly, Justin Timberlake specifically, and I found who mixed and who mastered it, and I paid the price to have my stuff recorded professionally, mixed professionally, and mastered professionally. Now, it was expensive. It was very expensive, but I was able to see what the industry standard was. And so I've just always been a doer. Like, I've always just been a doer. I've always been a person that, like, okay, I'm gonna figure out how this is done. And sometimes I stretch myself thin. Sometimes, you know, it looks crazy. Sometimes it's very expensive, but I figure it out. I'll figure something out. That's why being on The Voice for me was such a hard experience for me, because it was a real TV show. And so, like, literally, you had somebody for your clothes, you had somebody for your mic piece, you had somebody for your makeup, for your hair, you had somebody to tune your instruments, you had somebody. It was literally, people had jobs to do all these specific things, and I just was so like, I'm so used to having a show, and I gotta be that sound man, I gotta be the wardrobe stylist, I gotta build the set, I gotta hang the lights, I gotta do the track, the music. I'm so used to, and I'm still used to doing all of those different things, because I haven't gotten to a place where I can delegate. But it was just so, interesting for me. Like, oh, all I gotta do is worry about singing, being the artist. That's crazy to me. And so that's one of the interesting things about this video. Is just like, that's a good thing. Until you're able to delegate and hire people and employ people that are good or better at what it is that you're doing that they can do, you just gotta put in the reps, man. Do the work. Do the work. Stop complaining. Just do the work. Stop worrying about how crazy you look, because that's why I realized that my work ethic is far greater than your average person. And to be an entrepreneur and to be a dreamer and a creative and want the type of success that I want, your work ethic has to be on another level than most people, because most people aren't the 1% of the population. Most people aren't willing to sacrifice to be the greatest. And so because of that, I look like a freak of nature to a lot of people. But sometimes I find myself worrying about how crazy I look to people because of the way I work and my level of work ethic and all the different things I do and how strict I am on my time and my focus and all those different things. But I'm learning to be free from that as well. Like, it's just about doing the work. It's not about how you look to other people. It's not about, because really, why would I worry about how I look to somebody who doesn't have the goals that I have, or in fact don't have goals at all? So I only look crazy to somebody who does not want an exceptional life. I only look crazy to somebody who is not doing the work to be exceptional. To somebody that is doing the work, or that wants to be exceptional, that want the greatest and the finest things in life, I look like a twin. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's what I've been able to, what I'm learning to be okay with, even subconsciously. Because consciously I know, but subconsciously I feel like sometimes I know doing the reps is the only thing, but sometimes I feel like I look crazy because I'm the only one who understands that. You know what I'm saying? So, and you ain't crazy, bro. It's just math. If you want to get good at shooting, you gotta shoot 1,000 shoots. Take 1,000 shots. You want to be great at the 3-point line, you have to shoot from the 3-point line and make 1,000 shots every day. And when you at 500, that ain't enough. When you've missed and you're at 450, it's not enough. That is what's required. It's what's required. It's as simple as it being black or white. It's not about how you feel. It's not about what's going on externally. It's not about nothing else. It's just about doing the reps. It's just about the math. And once you figure out the math, and check this out, you may not even figure out the math, but I know if I take a shot, 1,000 shots, I know I'll at least be better than what I am now. And more than likely, I'll be better than anybody around me. And so that's what really matters. You shoot for the moon, if you miss the moon, you'll reach the stars. My goal is to make $23,000 a week. So if I'm not making $23,000 a week, but I'm making 15, I'm doing all right. My goal is to have 200 million monthly Spotify listeners. If I get 80 million monthly Spotify listeners, that's not bad. If I get 150, that's not bad. But my goal is 200 million. My goal is to make $23,000 a week. A week. Effortlessly through high value opportunities that inspire me and that excite me. A week. So if I make $19,000 a week, if I make $12,000 a week, if I make $15,000 a week, if I make $9,000 a week, I'm doing better than 90% of the people. And not that it's about doing better than anybody, but it's about being and fulfilling my purpose. So yeah. So you already know what it is. I'll check in with y'all tomorrow, and I hope that these videos inspire you. If you made it this far in the video, put in the comments, one goal that you have. Just one goal. By you putting it in the comments, you are making it a reality. And don't say, my goal is to say that I am making this much money. I am a screenwriter. I am a Grammy winning artist. I am an entrepreneur who has a business. Speak in present tense and watch that thing come to pass. So we on a journey together, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.